It's time for Startup Fundraising Office Hours. What does that mean? Why do we do that? Well, we do it because you have questions, right? Startup founders from all over the world join us at startupcouncil.org because they have questions about strategy, about growth, about raising money, and all the things that go into being a startup founder. It's a difficult road, one that those of us who are entrepreneurs, well, we choose to walk it, but it doesn't mean that you don't need help. Right? Even Olympic athletes have coaches. So I'm here to try to help you to the extent I can based on my years of experience as a startup founder and these days mostly an investor. So thanks for joining us here for Startup Office Hours. It's a free service of startupcouncil.org. Like I said, right there. We're a worldwide community service group that helps early stage founders connect with the resources that they need to accelerate their success and build their companies. So if you're here tonight, thanks for joining us from YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, or maybe you're listening to the podcast later, or maybe you're listening later to a YouTube rebroadcast, right? Or the recorded version, and all your questions are welcome. That's what we do here is we take questions and I'll do my best to answer what I can to help you. And we also benefit from the other folks who are here with me, right? So we've got people tuning in from all over the world, and we'll be happy to help you watch, not just watch, but actually participate. I'll turn on the chat room here in a second, and we'll have people combining their intelligence and their expertise to help suggest paths to success for our founders. So if that sounds like you, then you're in the right place, and I look forward to you participating here at Startup Office Hours. So we're going to have quick Q&A, some investor pitches as well. So 2-minute pitches so we can practice for feedback. And I'll be giving you my best insights based on my years of experience. So who am I? Why have I got the microphone? Well, first of all, because I picked up the microphone, right? Any of you could do this. I'm not some genius, but I do have the luxury of being a successful serial entrepreneur. I've been doing this for decades, and I've built a bunch of companies, large and small, most of which you wouldn't have heard of, but a few that you probably have. And I've written these books. For example, these 3 in the middle, these are in English, and the rest are foreign translations. So we are worldwide in that sense, because the books are in many languages around the world. So if you've read one of my books, thank you. And there's another book coming, which will be specifically about how to raise money. So keep your eyes open for that in 2026. But we really do this. I do this really because I want to help people get to the inside. I came from the outside without many resources and no connections into the world of technology or tech. And I kind of taught myself all that stuff. And that's why I started writing books 20 years ago, and why I'm writing this new book and why I do these broadcasts, because I want to share this expertise with you so that you can figure out how to get from the outside to the inside as well, how you can unpack the knowledge that's in your mind so that you can come online and build a business that reaches people, hopefully solve some problems, and along the way, maybe makes some money and makes the world a better place. So if that sounds like the right agenda for you, then we'll spend the next hour and a half together, and I'll be happy to help you get familiar with the world of startups. So let me just say before, I'm going to turn on the chat room here in a second, but please do invite your friends. That's right. Please go ahead and invite your friends while we're getting started here. There's time for everybody, and I'll try to stick around and answer as many of the questions as I can. So if there's a friend of yours who's an early stage entrepreneur and you'd like a friendly expert mentor sort of advice, and that's why I do this. I see a lot of people all over the world. I speak all over the world. I just got back from Malaysia, where the U.S. State Department had me speaking about innovation and encouraging the startup ecosystem and entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. And I can't do that much of it one-on-one, so I try to do it in venues like this that can be helpful to a lot of you at the same time. So please do invite your friends right now, and like and comment and all that stuff, of course. And of course, also let me point out that this is not qualified legal or financial advice. You should consult your own experts. I've been doing this a long time, and I have a lot of opinions about this stuff, but that's all they are. They're my opinions. So go ahead and consult your own professional advisors when you are making financial and career decisions, okay? I'm just some guy you met on the internet. Also, just FYI, this is being recorded and shared worldwide online, so it is public, and your contributions here are likely to be heard and seen by others. So don't say anything too confidential or anything stupid. Okay. And we'll do our best to get everybody included here. And head on over to Startup Council right now. And we've got 7, actually we have more than 7 now. I need to update that. We've got free newsletters to help you with fundraising, especially if you're in different parts of the world. We're spreading out across the world to offer services to help connect founders in different parts of the world. And we'd be happy to help you as well. Let's see. Okay, so let's turn on the chat room here, and let me find that for you. If that sounds like the right thing, and yep, well, I got a few people here watching, so let's see who's here with us. And you folks, where is it? There we go. Chat. Okay. All right, so now the chat room is going to start loading. So those of you who are, there we go. Looks like Miguel is on, what is that? That's YouTube, right? Okay, awesome, Miguel. I will look forward to answering your question in a couple minutes. And other folks, come on in and say hello. Let me know where you're from. I always find it interesting to hear where we're reaching. And I'd love to hear, for the moment at least, make sure there's this is working on LinkedIn, because we have some trouble on LinkedIn, or if you're on Facebook, like, let me know, say hi, where you're from and what network you're on. That would be really helpful for me, at least. And of course, can you hear me? Oh, there's Mustafa. Hello, Mustafa. You're local. Nice to see you. And I guess you guys can hear me. So that's always a good sign. I got to do that tech check, right? Okay, cool. So it looks like the chat room is mostly working. All right, so let's get going here and see. Okay, so I don't see anybody in the backstage. So Mustafa and Miguel as well. If you want to come backstage, then you want to come, I mean, to be on camera is what that means, right? So I can certainly talk to your text questions. So if you're feeling shy, that's fine. But let me find the other link. Pakistan. Hey, Riaz. Nice to meet you. Wow. Okay, here it is. founderofficehours.com. So if you go over there, founderofficehours.com, that should take you backstage. So turn on your webcam, make sure your microphone's working. And if you want to come back there and actually talk to me, then we'll be happy to do that. We'll bring you on camera and we'll have a discussion. Or if you want to practice your pitch, right? Like Mustafa was one of the ones who wrote in advance. And I very much appreciate that when people do that. It gives me a little bit of a chance to think about it. And Mustafa wants to talk about his A1 diagnosis company. And I'm happy to do that, Mustafa. But I need you to come use the other link I just posted there, founderofficehours.com. And the rest of you, if you'd like to join me on camera, please do that. And we will bring you on camera. Okay. So let's get started with the, well, let's do Miguel's here to start. And the rest of you, please say hello and let us know where you're from. So Miguel says, hi there, I just joined. Yeah, I will. Yeah, use that URL, Mustafa. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, J. Michael de Maurizio. Oh, back after 2 years. All right, from LA. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Okay, how do I do that? Let's see. There we go. Okay, so let's bring up Miguel's question. Well, it's a little too long to fit, but you get the idea here. I just joined. I'm a startup founder of a SaaS and SAP company, software as a service and probably software as a platform, I'm guessing. It's a data science AI helped company. I just got an investor, but some rejected us, I think because we denied them having equity. Okay. So I'm sorry, I guess that's not a question. Okay. Well, that's some good background. If there is a question, Miguel, go ahead and put that in the chat room and happy to follow up for that. Yeah, well, if they don't give you equity, then I don't know that they will want, investors want equity. So I'm not sure if there's a question there or not. The Earl Mustafa is founderofficehours.com. Founderofficehours.com. I just got it. Okay. Yeah, Jim Michael, the stream froze, but we're still here. Okay. All right. So here is Mustafa, and he's going to come here with me. Hey, there he is. Hey, Mustafa.
Hi, how are you? Can you
Hey,
hear
nice
me?
to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm
Yeah.
so happy to join here, actually.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, we met, where was that? At one of the events I was hosting.
Angel Group in Westminster. I presented everyone.
Yeah, that's right. Right. Okay. I was hosting that event. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
well,
was so good. I was really happy to meet with you over there in person also.
oh, excellent. Great. All right. Well, do you want to practice your pitch tonight? That's what you emailed about, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. If it's possible, that would
Yeah,
be
for
nice.
sure. Well, let me explain how we do it here, and that way the audience can contribute as well. So we do just a 2-minute pitch, no slides. It's just verbal, and the idea, of course, is for you to do your pitch. That's the easy part. So, but what we want from the audience, everybody else listening, is what you think, right? Because I don't have all the answers. I'm just a guy. So I certainly have a lot of opinions. I've done this many times, but I would love to hear, and so would Mustafa, love to hear what you think of his pitch. So we're probably not going to debate so much the strategy of the company. We're kind of going to presume that it makes sense. He's a smart guy. And we don't have time to get into all the details, right? But as a show, we're going to have him pitch, and then we'd love your feedback on what he could do better, or what was missing, or what you liked. Of course, is always valuable feedback too. So just kind of the pros and cons kind of feedback, right? And I will add my comments as well. So and you all can do that in the chat room. So let me grab where's my phone? We'll do 2 minutes. So I'll put a timer on, just like they would, like, well, you've done this, right? We did this together on stage, whatever that was, a month ago or so.
Yeah,
and let me get my 2-minute timer, and then we'll hear Mustafa. Mustafa's already done this, so it should be pretty good. And then the rest of you, let's see. Hold, let me just answer this. I did try to participate on camera, but couldn't find the URL. The URL, guys, is founderofficehours.com. Go to founderofficehours.com. Founderofficehours.com. Okay, there we go. All right. So now Mustafa is gonna give us a shot here. Ready? Okay, I'm ready when you are.
Okay, we can start. Hi everyone, my name is Mustafa Özgül. I'm a CEO of A1 Diagnosis. Would you like to see the future clearly? Would you like to evaluate your eye health before vision loss happens? 20 million Americans have age-related macular degeneration, which causes central vision loss. It is irreversible, and it is detected after damage happens. I would like to explain our technology in a simple language. When we get older, some cells in our eyes start dying. Where do cells go after dying? They go to the blood. Previously, we couldn't detect them in the blood because our technology was not advanced enough. Right now, we can detect them in our blood because our technology is very good, very advanced. And our AI platform analyzes these cells product and provide risk assessment for age-related macular degeneration before vision loss. Then you are healthy, and then we can give you risk assessment. How it works? When the person go to the doctor, a family doctor office, and withdraw the blood and send it to us, we analyze it our advanced technology and provide the risk assessment for the patient and for the doctor. Who we are? I'm a medical doctor, and I perform research University of California for 6 years, Department of Ophthalmology, School of Medicine. Co-founder Dr. Murad Baday is Stanford scientist and has extensive experience on regulatory process. Here is the opportunity. We are working only one disease right now, but we will expand risk assessments for autism, Alzheimer, endometriosis, and other diseases, step by step. What we have done, we completed proof of concept studies. Our next step is the perform study for CLIA certification.
Okay, sounds like we're out of time.
Thank you very much for everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so it's hard in 2 minutes, right?
Yeah. It's fine. Just one sentence, $1 million will be used for CLIA certification.
Oh, you were almost finished. Okay, great.
Yeah, almost finished. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Well, that's a great point. Like, if you're that close for you, but to everybody else, because we're talking to everybody, right? Just keep going. Like, tell them, like, make a gesture, like, I got it. Okay, I get it. Or like 1 second, and we'll gently let you finish, right? Nobody's trying to be mean.
Yeah, it was just one sentence left. $1 million will be used for the CLIA certification. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, well, that's a key point. So yeah, glad you got to that. Okay, so everybody in the chat room, what did you think? Like, if you have suggestions, it would be great to have all of you contribute your comments, pluses and minuses on what he could or should do well, or could or should do better, right? I'll go first. So it was very good. You're very fluent at this, right? You know what you're talking about. Given the short time span, I guess, so I'll try to, what could be better? Given the short time span, it's tough to fit everything in. So I just happened to be watching the clock because my phone's sitting right here in front of me, and it was over a minute before you got to really what you were doing. Like, you were explaining macular degeneration and stuff like that, which is important. But I think most people have some idea about that, at least older people, which is most investors. So you probably don't need to explain the medical side of it as much. I think you should get to the business quicker, because what I didn't hear, it was, I still don't know. Is it software? Is it hardware? Is it a lab process? Like, I don't know how you're doing this. Like you said, advanced technology, you said some other things. Like, I'm sure it's cool, but I don't know what it actually is. And it would be a lot better. Like I said, I'm working on this new book, and I think one of the things I'm going to recommend to everybody is to have what I'm calling an anchor phrase, which is right at the beginning. Like you said, hi, I'm Mustafa. And I would say up front, I'm a medical doctor. Like, get that right in, because that wasn't till like 3/4 of the way through. That obviously makes you more qualified than me to do this, right? You're the man. I'm a medical doctor and we're doing this. We make this for these kinds of people, and it's software, hardware, whatever it is, and we're this far along in terms of money, like, or something, just like one sentence, like, so we know what you're even talking about, because we have no idea where you're going, right?
Right,
And,
right, yeah. It's just like a summarizing in a one sentence, two sentence in the beginning. Everybody will know what we are doing.
Exactly, like a positioning statement, you might call it. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Yeah, exactly. And then I can know, right? Like, okay, so what I'm expecting. Okay, so this is a medical. I still don't even know. Is it a device or is it software or?
Basically, this is the instrument, we analyze it, but end of the time we got the 10,000 molecules and analyzing the AI platform. We have own algorithm and to provide us the risk assessment. There's two things, like a blood analysis in the advanced device, plus using the AI this data, and then to
So is there a hardware component? Are you using
hardware? We have hardware component and software component.
So new hardware, something new, not existing hardware.
No, this is the existing hardware.
Existing hardware. Okay.
Yeah,
so
this algorithm is the new one.
Okay. So that's what I would be clear about, because hardware investors are very different than software investors. So you're a software company is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to say that, because I literally don't know. And and that's a very different thing, right? Because hardware is hard and it's very expensive. And you got to get all those FDA approvals, and like, it's medical devices. So it's not a medical device at all. So it's software. So that needs to be like right up front in your positioning statement.
We need the this is a this is a not new hardware, but we need in our instrument the clear certification, regulatory approval. We need it, but we don't produce the device. We will just get the device from the company, and we analyzing with the blood, and our algorithm is new part. This is
right. Okay. So that's what you need to say, right? Because especially, I'm not a med tech investor. I'm more a software guy, right? But position that right up front so that those who are listening can go, this fits in my box, or it doesn't fit in my box. And those whose box it fits in will perk up, because like, oh, this is my kind of guy, right? And then they will listen more closely. If you don't give us a positioning statement, we're all kind of half listening and hoping we can figure it out. And you're making it too hard, because at the end, like I said, I still didn't know what it was. And what it is, we investors tend to invest on whatever it is. Like, our mandate is we do software, we do hardware, or we do whatever, or medical device, right, et cetera.
Right. I think we can say more software part, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and you said AI, right? You waited till the end to say AI. That's another thing. You have 4 letters that you should say a lot. MD, AI. Like, dude, you're like way ahead of most people, right? And you're a modest, friendly guy, so you're not waving that flag, but that's a big deal. If you're an MD who's qualified to work in artificial intelligence, I mean, you've eliminated what, 98% of the human race. That's a
big deal. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So I would emphasize your credentials, the AI, and be clear about what it is. And then the piece that you didn't get to too much is, what's the model? Like, who's the customer? I didn't hear that at all. Like, is it the hospital? And you don't need to answer me. We got to move on to somebody else. But is it the hospital? Is it insurance reimbursement? Is it individual? Is it direct to consumer? Like give us some sense of the model and the go to market, because how you're going to reach these people is important. And especially if you have an advantage, somewhere in there that will differentiate you, like you're really good at AI, or your go-to-market strategy is because your partner, has huge connections somehow with the hospital systems or something, like emphasize the good stuff, because in 2 minutes you don't have time to explain it all. Like you just want to seem really sexy and have us want another meeting, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, our goal is to get the second meeting. Always.
Exactly. So cool. Well, let's see if anybody had anything to say in the chat room. Let's see. So Jay Michael says, I've heard similar people pitch about medical startups. What I often hear for feedback is patents. Yeah, that's fair. And approval timeline in the medical space to get the product to market. Yeah, those are all fair points for sure. Patents are good. And then the time to market is a big one, especially if you have FDA hurdles. It sounds like you might have, what do they call it in the medical space? Like prior art or 501k, like it's already been kind of cleared and you're repurposing it.
Yeah.
If you have those kind of advantages, I would throw those out.
In these days, we are a little bit changes to our direction. Is the Billion to One and also Exact Sciences. There's a two successful company, and they go to CLIA. CLIA is like a 1-year process to get the regulatory approval, and then Medicare or other companies, insurance companies, they pay it. And after that, they starting the 1 year later get the revenue, and they go to the FDA. This is a process actually.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So that's interesting, right? And, investors love companies that have revenue because it shows, this is the key point I make for everybody. We really need to know that somebody other than you and your team and your mom care, right? Like if you have people wanting to pay and actually paying, even if it's just a crude prototype early stage version, that's really important for us to know. So that's cool. All right. Well, great. Well, good to see you. I hope that was helpful.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for you and everybody. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to see you. All right. So that's our friend Mustafa. All right. Now, how do I hang on, Mustafa? I don't know how to turn you off. They like I said, there it is. Okay. All right. Well, nice to see you. All right. So now we've got Byron and Mojeed backstage. So I'm going to bring both of them on and we can figure out, just don't pitch me yet, but just let me tell you, what do you guys, hey there. What do you guys want to talk about? Like, just give me the headline. Like, what's on your mind? Byron, why don't you go first? What's your question or topic?
Well, I would like to practice, first of all. First of all, nice to see you again. I was in the TSA event.
Oh, okay.
I did see you there for the first time at Circle University.
Yeah, and you emailed in, didn't you? Thank you for sending that.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, I would like to practice.
Okay.
And a couple of questions about what will be like next steps here in the US for making this happen. We have some experience with the company. I have several years in this business.
Stop. That's enough. We'll come back to you. Okay. So Mojeed, how about you, Mojeed? Did you want to? Oh, he just turned off his camera. Mojeed, did you want to? Okay. Well, that makes it easy. All right. Well, Byron, you're up. Okay. Yes. Well, nice to see you again too. Let's see. I'm trying to. What's the best camera here? Let's try that. Picture in picture. Yeah. Let's do this one. Okay. Then we could see you. Okay. So do you want to start with the pitch or do you want to start with some questions?
Yeah. I will start with the pitch and then I will proceed with the questions.
Fair enough. Okay. So let's let me remind everybody. So 2 minutes, no slides, just verbal. And he's going to tell us about, looks like CreateBot. It's a robotics related company. And then you, meaning everyone watching, and me will give him some feedback to help him make his pitch even better next time. And we do have people who come back month after month and you see their pitches get a lot better. So he and I will both appreciate feedback from the audience. So, okay. So I'm going to put 2 minutes on here, Byron, and you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, thank you. Did you know that in less than 5 years, 170 million new robotics-related jobs will exist worldwide? Yet almost half of the US jobs face automation risk. CreateBot is a robotics company. We design and manufacture our own robotics components here in the US. We also develop educational robotic kits. Just in 2025, we delivered 1,500 robots to an educational program that was funded by US Embassy in Guatemala. We're just about to launch the first educational robotics platform. This platform will connect industry experts and users who want to build their careers in the new robotics economy. This platform will function over a subscription price of $39.99 per month. Very affordable. This provides all. This will be provided to the users all the components and the courses access and basically everything that user need to make a career in robotics. Just thinking about this. In our case, as a company, we only need 1,600 active subscribers for 1 year to generate a 5x return. We are looking for an investment of 150,000 in investment. Given our goal that is reaching 100,000 users over the first year, that's only a 2% of conversion rate. We are also on the pathway to sell very, very soon in the platform of Kickstarter, one of the biggest robots that we have produced yet. And basically, this is going to be the first international program that is focused only on robotics. Let's think about platforms like Udemy. Udemy, they sell you a bunch of different courses. We are only targeting the robotics market, and we are producing not only the courses, but also the hardware that is going to be involved in this part of the educational programs.
Okay, time's up. Any last thoughts, or is that it?
That's
good.
it.
Okay. All right, good. Well, nice job. You're very articulate and friendly. That always helps. Okay, so audience, who has suggestions? What could he do better? It was pretty good, right? But what could he do better? If there's room for improvement, I'm sure he'd like to hear it. That's why we're here, right? So, okay, so my thoughts. My thoughts would be, well, you already have 1,500 kits off to Guatemala. Good job. And you've got a SaaS sort of business here. That's great. The mission is obviously a good one, and everybody knows robotics is just, man, it's a wave, right? So I think investors would be interested in participating in that wave, right? If you give them an opportunity to benefit from the wave. I guess my question, and is probably, we probably don't have time to get into it, but just for you to think about, you come across kind of non-profity, right? Which is not a bad thing. It's just not, investors don't invest in nonprofits, right? So if you're selling I would need a stronger business case, right? Like you said, 40 a month, like how many of those could you sell? And, give me some numbers to string it together, right? So like what's the potential of this as a business? I mean, I totally get that you could help a lot of people, and I'm down for that. That's very cool. But if you're talking about an investor pitch, it's got to be, I need more numbers, basically, right? So the fact that you have sales already is awesome, because that suggests that people, like I said to Mustafa, somebody else cares other than your mom. That's a key key hurdle, right? But if you're gonna try to raise money on a business basis, that's different. And the other reason I asked that is because $150,000 is not enough for investors for venture capital, right? If you only need $150,000, most investors will say, incorrectly or maybe unfairly, raise that on your own, like from your friends and family and your credit cards, right? Maybe you don't have friends and family or $150,000 credit limit, but that's, most investors are rich and they forget what it's like not to have resources, right? So that's such a small amount of money that Kickstarter sounds more obvious, as you mentioned, or a grant sort of program, right? Especially if you've got this nonprofit angle, maybe this is something that would be supported by some regional government or program or a foundation, that kind of vibe, right? So I guess if you're going to pitch this as an investment, I would, like I said, I'd want to hear more what we call it unit economics. We make this many of these things at this price. We sell them this. We expect to sell this many with this kind of margin. Like, give me an equation, right? And it doesn't have to be all. We all know it's kind of BS, but just that shows you're thinking about how this works, and then you would get into like cost of customer acquisition. and competition, things like that. Because there's three roads, I guess, really to sell this, right? You've got direct to consumer, which you mentioned, which is totally a thing. There's also business to business. So like maybe you do wholesale to, I don't know, to high schools, or, who would need a lot of these? I don't know. But then the in-between is kind of the non-profit-y thing of like you supply them, at low cost to community organizations, which is again, a lovely thing to do, but not something investors are going to get excited about financially, right? So I think you kind of got to pick your lane and be a little clearer, because you mentioned kind of, at least the way I heard it, and I may be wrong, and we forced you into 2 minutes, which I know is artificial, but which one is it? And is that a path that investors would be excited about? So does that make sense? Is that useful?
Totally. I do appreciate. I didn't knew that I sound like I was selling, or I was trying to do something like non-profit. Basically, that's not the business model.
Okay.
We manufacture all of the parts, all of the components, all of the robotic kits. We put into boxes, and our main business is to sell them to final users. Now we have a subscription model where we will be providing hardware and all, as well as the access to this educational platform, which is going to, probably was the way that I have explained it. And just as an example, I did use this educational program that was funded by the U.S. Embassy last year in Guatemala, because they were my first client after, a lot of years. Because I did close this company for the pandemic, because of the COVID-19. So recently I did move to the U.S. because right now seems to be like the best place to do this kind of startup again. And because everything is US manufactured, seems to be like a good point for selling to local government. Actually, there's a big amount of fundings from the US government available for robotics companies right now. And, in my experience was that US government will be pay you very well as long as you manufacture most of the components. And in robotics, it's even a little bit harder, because they will give you a documentation where you must testify that you are not getting all of those parts from China, for example, or from other governments.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Probably that was my bad.
So well, that's great. Well, that's why you do this, right? Better do this now than when you get that big meeting that you've been dreaming of and they get the wrong impression, right? So, so that's a lot clearer. Then I think you need to open with something like, you will say it better, but something like, we're a robotics kit manufacturer. We sell direct to consumers and to wholesale to the US government, period. And then get into the stuff like, okay, now I got it, right? Because otherwise it was kind of a bunch of different stuff. And the Kickstarter thing, actually, that can be pretty distracting. If you think that you're going to make money, is it Kickstarter for equity or just for product?
Well, Kickstarter, we're thinking about making just for product, but actually, because again, it's like this is where my questions are going. This is the first time I'm doing this kind of business in the US, and everything, all the information I know, I have read it. I have been following you on social media, as well as a lot of other persons that do this type of let's say ideas and documentation about it. And my first question is, what would be a good recommendation, for example, in this kind of business? Because honestly, I'm open to keep equity on this business. We already have some traction. I have 13 years of experience of doing this. We're exporting to several countries in Latin America. Basically, the company was closed because of the COVID-19. I'm from Guatemala, by the way. So the government did close most of our company's operation over there. And after that, I did travel to China. I tried to find out who was doing this all over the world. And I did find out how Chinese, they manufacture so cheap. So basically, everything that we are doing is manufacturing in the US, but almost the same price as Chinese do in China.
Great.
So this is a good thing.
So put all those good points into a short pitch, right? And don't talk about Kickstarter. Don't talk about other stuff. Like, we build these things in the US because you're right, that's a great selling point. We already have the US government as a customer, and we're going to sell them to this many people, like I said, some equation with this many people at this typical price with a gross margin of this. And the other thing I would say, and we're going to have to move on and talk to some other people here, but when you talk about a SaaS business, you should also mention it's $40 a month. Great. But what do they get in future months, right? Do they keep getting a kit, or do they, how do you maintain their value so that they don't churn out and disappear, right? Because SaaS sounds great, but it's hard to do to keep people engaged, right? So that would be another thing. So yeah, that sounds cool. You've got the pieces here. Just kind of like bring the best points to the surface, I think. Cool.
Yeah. Finally, one question. Where do you think, because I saw that, the experts were talking about the last time, where do you think we can find out, someone like me, I can find out like an advisor for this type of projects? Because that I do believe that as the new guy in town, I really need one.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Aliso Viejo.
Oh, you're here in Orange County, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah, that's actually easy because I know this market. This is where we both live in Orange County. So I would go to the best advisors, of course, cost a lot, right? So I don't know how much money, if you have cash or equity. I mean, you got to think about that, right? But there are free resources that are available actually here in Orange County and across the United States, but I happen to know the ones here in Orange County. I would start with the SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation. And SBDC is paid for by US taxpayers, so it's your and my money, and therefore it's free. And they have a staff of great people. Many of my friends who are fellow angel investors here in Southern California volunteer there, and they do exactly what you want. They advise and mentor and can help you out. And this is true for everybody watching who isn't just here in Southern California, but all across the United States. The Small Business Development Corporation, like I said, it's a taxpayer funded service. So they have offices all over the place and it's free. So I would look up your local SBDC, Small Business Development Corporation, and sign up, right? They have classes and they have webinars and they will do consulting. They'll assign somebody to work with you for free. Another great resource is called SCORE, Service Corps of Retired Executives. SCORE, same thing. You can Google that, and it's just what it sounds like: a bunch of retired folks who want to do volunteer work, and a lot of them are business oriented, right? So they want to coach young entrepreneurs and business owners. So I think that both of those would be good places for you to start. And then because you're here, you should also be on the list. Maybe you already are, right? On our email list for the Orange County Startup Council. I'm trying to find it. Here it is. For this, right? You're probably already on our list.
Yeah, I am already there.
So you should, if you're not already, you should have your company join, and we'll post your profile and everything, and then you can send articles and things to be published in the newsletter, and you can be part of those newsletters you read, and you can also see all the events that are happening around. And that's the best way, is to go and meet people in person, right? Face to face. So, okay. Well, I hope that's useful. Nice to see you. I probably will see you again in person then. All right. Well, thank you, Byron. Nice to meet you. Well, that was cool. Interesting company there, right? Love to see robotics. I mean, robotics is really coming. Any of you that aren't, I mean, I'm not a robotics person, but man, there's a wave coming that's going to be really impressive and important, right, for the world. So he's in a good place for that. All right, so let's see. We're gonna talk to. I've got a couple people backstage, so let's. Let me, guys. So Jay and let's see, Mojeed, you came back, right? Is that Mojeed? Yeah, so I guess maybe you do want to come on camera. Okay, so hang on, Mojeed and Jonathan, just a minute. I just want to run through the chat room and see if anything's on fire here, or if I missed any good questions that would be useful to other people to discuss. Okay, let's do Mustafa, Jay. Yeah, there's Byron. Okay, yeah, and you can all introduce yourself as some of you are. You can put your LinkedIn. Actually, let me do that. You come and say hi on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is. I don't know if you're not active on LinkedIn as a founder, you're making a mistake. It is a very valuable network, and you should be on there regularly, posting, liking, all that kind of stuff. Here we go. So the Startup Council has a page, and then I personally have a page as well. So come say hello. Okay, just back to the Okay. Okay, Jonathan, you figured it out. Okay. Edie says, okay, cool, Edie. Well, let's just put that on camera. Edie says, wellness projection mapping to aid in mental wellness for mostly families in crisis, but also individuals. Okay, that sounds exciting. If there's a question, Edie, let us know, but nice to meet you. And okay, so let's go backstage and bring on, I think, looks like, okay, I'm going to bring on Mojeed and Jonathan here in 1 second. Let's see what they want to talk about and who makes sense to go next. Okay, here we go. Okay, Mojeed. There he is. He's back. Okay. And nice to see you. And sorry, clicked on the wrong thing. Hang on a second. Here. This and Jonathan. Okay. Hi, guys. Nice to meet you both. Okay, so Mojeed, you're back. So let me tell me just real quick the headline. What would you like to talk about, and then I'll ask Jonathan what his topic is.
Yeah, I would like to talk about one AI product we are currently building that automates newsletter creation.
Oh, cool. Okay, is that so? You want to pitch, or it's a question about that idea?
Like I'm not ready to pitch, but I just want to talk about it because I just started building it, so I'm not ready for pitching. I didn't expect that I was going to pitch, but I just want to talk about it, like,
okay. Okay, cool. Happy to help. Well, just think of some specific questions, though, right? Because we don't have time to do a whole long strategic discussion together, okay? But if you have some specific questions, sure, happy to discuss. Okay, and how about you, Jonathan? What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I am graduating from this program called Gauntlet AI in 2 days, actually. Been here for 7 weeks. I'm actually from San Diego, but I'm in Austin, Texas. Been putting in like 100 hours a week in this program, learning how to use AI coding tools. Mostly like Claude is my favorite, but the other folks in the program have used things like Cursor, Gemini, and we've been building products very rapidly. For a couple of weeks, we were building like 3 products a week. For the past couple of weeks, we've been kind of working on passion projects or a capstone project. My capstone project is one I'm working on with a security expert, and we're building a automated AI powered agentic security platform. And the special thing about this product is that it can basically support the conversation between LLMs and people and prevent things like prompt injection and preventing the LLM from getting like improper access to the web services that might be deployed, supporting the entire platform. But the specific product I want to talk about is my project, which I'm not doing as my capstone, just as I'm working with a lady who used to work for Coinbase before she came here. So she's very experienced, and I just wanted to learn about security. But the product that I'm would like to pitch, basically, I'm building on a framework. There's a thing called the breakthrough method for agile development, and so that's a way that you can use agents.
John, what's the question? That's all I need.
Oh well, yeah, I wanted to pitch. I'm sorry. I wanted to pitch, basically pitch a framework and a tool to support AI engineering, basically allowing software engineers to develop code with agents.
Okay, stop. That's good. Great. So you're going to pitch. That's all I needed, honestly. The rest of it's very interesting, though. That's why I let you keep going. Sounds like an amazing program. 100 hours a week, man.
Oh yeah, and it's free too. It's crazy.
Right, you must be learning. Wow, your head's probably exploding. Okay, so well, given those two, well, why don't you do your pitch thing, and then we'll get into questions with you and with Mojeed as well. Where are you? Where are you, Mojeed? You said Jonathan's in Austin. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix. Okay, cool. All right, Southwest night. All right, cool. All right. Well, Jonathan, if you don't mind, then why don't you do? If you heard, were you here earlier? We did like a 2-minute pitch, and okay.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Let's have. All right. So, Mojeed, I'm going to turn you off for a second so we can focus on Jonathan, but you're still here, and we'll come back to you. Okay. Good to see you. Okay. So there's me and Jonathan. All right. So Jonathan, why don't you go ahead and give us? I'll put 2 minutes on and tell us about this product you've got in mind.
All right. So yeah, the inspiration from this product, I've been a software engineer and a machine learning engineer specifically for the past 6 years. Before coming to Gauntlet, I've built some really cool things, but it's taken quite a while. I've been able to build products in a matter of like 7 days that would have taken teams of like 5 engineers at least like three weeks or to 6 weeks to have an MVP. And that's all based on the power of coding agents. Like I said, Claude is my favorite agent of choice. And I like to implement a framework called BMAD. It's the breakthrough method for agile development. And what that does is allow you to assign personas to your agent so that your agent can take on the persona of a business analyst, a product manager, a scrum master, an architect, and ultimately the developer, and push through a bunch of stories that you develop pretty much in the same way that you would work with a product manager, develop epics, features, and stories, and store that in your Jira, right? And so the product that I'm pitching, I'm actually calling it Amara. The reason I'm calling it Amara is because that's a spin on Amaro. And the new framework I've developed is called Amaro, which is the automated method for aggregate readable output. So that's an iteration on BMAD. The thing about coding with agents is the important things to note while you're doing that is token management. So that's basically the cost for using an agent. Every time an agent receives input from you or creates output, so like any text, it's called tokens. And so, the different methods of approaching development have different costs associated with tokens. Some are more efficient and use less tokens, but I found that the more efficient methods usually create, a less desirable output and require more debugging. So I prefer BMAD, which does cost more tokens to develop with, but you get a more refined product at the end. And so what I've done is iterated on BMAD to make a more...
That's time, so finish up.
Yeah, so I've made a more cost-effective way to still use this agile development approach. And I've also wrapped this inside of an API and a native Mac OS application. And so, I'd like to take this to market and compete with things like Claude, which is making $83 million a month. My goal is to price mine at 75% of that price, and then provide, twice the output. So basically provide twice as many tokens to the users.
Okay, cool. Wow, it sounds like this program, what'd you say, Gauntlet was it called?
Yeah, Gauntlet AI.
It sounds like it's changed your life.
Absolutely.
You've seen the future.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bloom Tech or Alpha School or Lambda School.
The Lambda.
Yeah, the founder of this school used to run Lambda School and is pivoted. So now the program is funded by the companies that hire us. So I got a job while I was here. So I'll be back home in San Diego working for a company based in LA. But yeah, there's a bunch of partners that fund this program. That's why it's free. I've been staying in this really nice hotel this whole time.
Cool.
They're taking care of all the food. And so we've been developing projects for these partner companies.
Oh, I see.
Right. And we've met so many different people. I can name drop so many really cool companies. One I would definitely tell you to look at is Peak Six.
Okay.
That's actually where Robinhood came from.
Oh.
It's $1 billion company based here in Austin, and they're going to get into prediction markets, which is huge.
Oh,
and that's what my goal is, to take this tool that I just mentioned, the Amara tool, and start developing solutions for the prediction markets, because that's going to be huge over the next few years.
Huge. Yeah, no doubt. Okay. So super cool. So, let me give you some pitch feedback then. And of course, everybody that else is listening, if you were listening and heard what Jonathan said and you have suggestions, what he could say better or differently, please chime in the chat room, right? That's why we're here. So, okay. So very interesting. You like to talk. So maybe you're nervous, but you got to be a lot more concise, right? So I'm just saying, this is your friend, right? So you had 2 minutes, and it was about 90 seconds of preamble. And then suddenly you told me what you actually do, which was, we're a more cost efficient API to reduce token costs and compete with Claude at 75% off for twice the output. Start there. Right? I don't need all the hand waving and big picture and table setting like stuff. Just tell me what you're doing, right? Because that's investors are not going to sit still otherwise, right? And that was a great pitch, right? But it was like way after all this other stuff, right? So tell me the specifics, and then from there you'll have, that'll, if you do it right, that'll only take 10 or 15 seconds. You'll have another minute and a half, even though the quick pitch, right? Then I would want to hear because what you didn't have time to get to is like, who's the target market, and you started talking about that as soon as we called time. And you kind of said, these folks and these folks, and like prediction markets or whatever, because it's obviously a very niche sort of thing, right? Most people, I barely even understood what you're talking about, right? If you start throwing around words like Jira and BMAT and token management, most people have no idea what you're talking about. They don't even know what agile is, right? So you got to be really careful to size or level your pitch to who you're talking to, right? And most of that will go right over a lot of people's heads, right? Because you're a real developer, right? So that seems natural to you, but most people know what Jira is, right? I barely do. So you got to be careful to bring the, as my dad used to, bring the hay down to where the horses can eat it. Most of us are just horses, right? So and start with we do this for these, kind of was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here, but like positioning statement, we do this for these kind of people, and we make this kind of money this way, or something like that, so that we could, okay. And then you can start getting buzzwordy and stuff. And then the real question would be, as an investor, I'm immediately wondering, like, competition, what defensible moats do you have? Like, I can't do it, but like a lot of people claim they can do this kind of thing these days. Like, what is your unique selling proposition, or whatever buzzword you want to use, so that it becomes something specific for that specific market. And that seems to the answer to me is like, you would start in a specific market to have like a beachhead, where, like I said, something that Claude's doing, but you'll do it for 75% off for twice the output in this, niche of a niche that, again, I may not have ever heard of, but if you can drop the name of a company that's, like you said, they're doing what did you say, 83 million a month? Right there. Yeah.
Well, Anthropic is the umbrella.
Yeah.
Is one of their products.
Yeah. Well, and as you know, probably the Anthropic is kind of under the radar to the general population, because they're all B2B, right? The people hear about ChatGPT and Gemini and even Grok, right? But they don't necessarily know that there's a ton of money being made that the average consumer doesn't even know about. But you're already on the other side of that bridge, so it sounds like a big juicy target you've got there.
Yeah. So to be clear, I was looking this up. My target would be the 500,000 software developers in the country. And again, I want to do it at 75% of the cost of Claude. So I'm looking at $150 a month subscriptions, right? And even with only 1% of that, that's $750,000 a month.
Okay.
And the overhead for that is really only going to be about like 25 or 250,000 a month. So the margins are pretty huge.
Great. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of stuff is what we want to hear, right? Because as soon as you start talking, this is for everybody, not just Jonathan, as soon as a founder starts pitching, we're trying to do equations, right? Like, what are they doing? How much does it cost? How many can they sell? Like, we're trying to do arithmetic all the time. We think in spreadsheets, right? So you got to give us a lot of numbers, and the sooner you've got numbers, right? So just throw them out there, and they're good numbers, they're big numbers, right? Just be careful, though, as long as I'm saying that. Investors don't like it so much when people say it's $1 billion market from the top down, and if we just get 1%, we're rich. Well, it's much more impressive to work from the bottom up, kind of like you did it a second later, which was 500,000 software developers. If we have 4% market penetration and an average of whatever, $100 a month and an average life of 18 months, like you can, that kind of arithmetic that is bottom up unit economics is much more impressive, because it shows that you've thought through the mechanics of the business. Because anybody can say, we sell water, everybody drinks water, there's 7 billion people, and if we capture 10%, we've got 700 million customers. Like, that's bullshit, right? It does not help anybody.
I appreciate you for framing it this way, because that's what I did it out of order. That was my reason for and like focusing so much on the framework, because the thing that, like, when you sign up for Claude or these other tools, they don't do is they don't give you a framework on how to use their tool efficiently. Like, why would they? They want you to blow through a bunch of tokens.
That's interesting. Okay. I like that. Yeah. This is an educational component to what you're saying. Absolutely. Investors don't want to invest in things that where people are trying to change market behavior. They don't like to, at least I don't, invest in things where like vitamins, like everybody should take more vitamins. So we need $1 million from you. Like, okay, but that no. But if it, like what you're saying, this is actually a business use case that will bring their costs down with a little bit of education, that could be a real competitive advantage. Yeah. And it's like kind of an onboarding almost. Sounds
so, and that's the thing you mentioned ChatGPT and Grok. This, like, people like you said, I'm definitely, this whole program has got me, like, I feel like I'm 10 years in the future. This is Grok. If you could ask Grok 100 questions, but like you didn't need to, you could just ask Grok the first question. It would figure out the next 100 questions and answer them for you, and like, you know, build the system and the product that you want at the end of it.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, we're gonna have to move on, but I would encourage you that I would keep pulling on that thread, because that's the kind of example that even non-techies would get, right? Because everybody at this point has at least used ChatGPT, but as you're just saying, they're like, whatever, you know, imagine you put in one question and it leads, you have to ask 14 more questions, and then you spent like, you know, whatever, $400 on tokens.
Oh yeah.
We'll do that. One question will answer itself, and it'll only cost you $4.87 or whatever, you know, like that's a use case that the real use cases would be great for something like what you're talking about, because it's really hard for us civilians to get our heads around it.
And last thing I'll jump in the chat. I'm going to put 2 things in the chat, 2 YouTube videos. One is a video of one of the founders that I talked to, and he thinks he's going to build a $1 billion business with 1 employee. You know, I was trying to be that employee. He didn't hire me, but I got another job. And then I'll put another video, which is just a demo of the tool that I'm talking about. Cool. And that's only like a 2-minute video. But yeah, thanks, Scott. This is only my second time on. I'll definitely make sure and be on a lot more often. This last 10 weeks has been crazy. But I got one before that, but I'll definitely catch a lot more coming up. Awesome.
Well, nice to see you again. Glad you came back for more. All right. Well, so that was Jonathan Skeet. Okay. And Mojeed, you've been waiting patiently. So let's wrap a little bit about whatever's on your mind there. Let's explore your, you said it's AI also, right?
Yes. Thank you, Scott. And firstly, I want to appreciate you for helping me promote my conference, you know, when it was going on. I saw that, you know, Startup Council supported. Oh, yeah, you probably don't remember, but yeah, I just wanted to say thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, we promote a lot of conferences, so that's great. I'm glad to hear that. Actually, thank you. If you don't mind, then let me actually put that up, because this is a resource that we're building that could be useful to everybody. Startupevents.org is what I'm looking for here. So this is the only worldwide calendar, I think, of only startup events that are only face-to-face. So these are like real conferences if you want to go and meet people. And then if you don't want to do the face-to-face thing and you only want to do virtual, like you don't have the money to travel, or you live like, you know, not in the Bay Area or some, you know, other country or something, on startupcouncil.org, our website, you can, this one, we have the only calendar in the world of only virtual events. So if you go there, both of those you can read for free. So that event, and we try to promote everybody's event. So if any of you are event producers like Mojeed, we'd be happy to help publicize that for you. Okay, sorry, your turn.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so basically, my company, Data Global Hub, we do quite a lot. One of those things is events, but I want to focus on a particular area that I would want to get your opinion on, like today. So that's still something I just started like maybe 4 days ago. So I'm building like a newsletter automator. So newsletter automator is an AI-powered platform that transforms how we create newsletters. And basically, like, it helps you create quality newsletters in a short time. Normally, you have to find content, you have to create it, you have to write compelling copy, you know, format everything, and then manage distribution. For most people, this takes a lot of hours per newsletter. So basically, like, it has different components. Like, this is how it works. You need to paste the URL. You know, you drop in the links to maybe websites or maybe platforms that you want to get information from, or blog post or website or web content. Then AI does the heavy lifting. It scrapes all those websites, summarizes it, and writes your newsletter. Then also, it does it with your voice and style. So you can train it on your tone using samples or description. You can just write, okay, this is how I want the newsletter to go. You can just upload a sample newsletter, like, and then it takes the tone and adapts it to the new one you want to create. Then also it has collaborative features where you and maybe multiple other people creating the newsletter can edit in real time, and then you can approve, if this person should, like, you can approve, like, if the other person should, can send the newsletter. Then also, it has like built-in subscriber management system, A/B testing and analytics. So what makes it different is that you can generate AI images for each section of the newsletter. So it also comes with image. Then also there's version history and team collaboration. So you can decide to like edit the newsletter, if you're not ready to upload it, and then change. Like you can have different versions. Then also you have pre-built templates where you have different sections and maybe images and stuff that comes with the templates. Then you also have like a full email marketing suite included in it. So that's what the newsletter automator looks like. So I just wanted to get your opinion about it, and if it is something that is reasonable to go further into. Is this something that people can like, that one can get investment on?
Yeah, well, it sounds great. Are you building this all yourself? That's a lot of functionality.
Yes, I'm building myself. I'm using AI agents. So
wow. Yeah, I guess I gotta learn how to reevaluate software, because man, if you can do all that by yourself, that's about, when I was your age, that would have taken like 14 people, like a year at least. So that's really cool. Okay, well, yeah, I think it is an idea. Absolutely. Newsletters continue to be a really valuable tool for marketing. Every new tool that comes out, I've been doing this long enough that every new tool, everybody said, oh, this is going to take over and newsletters are dead. Whether it was Twitter or YouTube videos or Discord or, like every new thing is, that's going to kill newsletters. Email keeps going, right? So I think it's, yeah. And these days, as you know, obviously, if you can create the content of that quality, you can repurpose it over to TikTok or YouTube or whatever pretty easily anyway. So to be in the content generation business, I think that's a thing. So yes, I guess, as your friend, I would be concerned, or as an investor also, I would be concerned about competition, right? Because what you're talking about sounds like a lot of other systems that may not be as good, but are already in place, right? Most people that need this system, that kind of thing, have at least something they're using already. And to get them to rip that out and start over is a really tough sell, as a business development exercise. You're talking about, I don't know, who would you say are the competitors here? Are you talking about like HubSpot or Constant Contact, or what do you, MailChimp, that kind of thing?
Yes, but one thing I think they don't have is, like, for example, aggregating those contents that you want to like make in the newsletter, aggregating it from the website, like scraping. I don't know if they have web scraping capability.
No, I don't think they do. I agree. But that's my point though, is if that's the one thing, that's not enough for me to leave if I've already spent 4 years and trained all my people to use HubSpot, for example, right? We've spent thousands of dollars training everyone, and yours may be better, but is that enough to really switching? They call it switching costs, right? The switching costs are really high, and it's not just financial, it's all the training of your people and the culture, right? Like that's what they do. There are people whose whole job is to create that newsletter, right? So are they going to completely drop that and switch to you? That's a difficult sale for your salespeople. So I think it's a good idea. You're going to get resistance from investors and from customers. So I think you're going to have to, even more than usual, demonstrate traction in terms of customer interest and ideally paying customers, right? Because it's here. Let me summarize. A service that is better, but only 20% better, isn't enough because people are lazy, right?
Yes.
So you may be right that it would be maybe your service is way better, but the other guys are already there. So, if I were like, your friend or an investor, I might be saying, well, maybe you could just focus on the piece that's unusual and differentiating and sell that to HubSpot or MailChimp or whoever, you know, rather than trying to be a competitor, maybe you could be more like a supplier, right? And then they could use you or hire you or buy you or something, you know. That might be easier, because what I'm hearing, and I could be wrong, we just, you know, we haven't really discussed this through, but it sounds like most of what you're building they already have, right? And maybe you don't need to build all that stuff. Just focus on the different stuff. Again, just my advice, not I'll put it up there again, not qualified legal or financial advice. But I would just be concerned for you, like as your friend, right? Because what you're doing doesn't sound like a standalone business as much as a feature of something that they would do. And I could be wrong, especially at the pace you're moving. You could probably invent 4 other things by next week.
Actually,
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the feedback.
Okay. Yeah. Is that useful? Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope so. Yeah. Yeah. I admire your ambition, though. It's great to hear you. And if you come back and we'll talk about it more as your thoughts evolve. You're smart. You're smart to ask for other points of view, right? Because there's no right answer here. It's up to you. And it's your life, man. If that's what you want to do, go do it. Right? You figure it out. So, all right. Well, great to see you, Mojeed. All right. So that is our friend Mojeed from Phoenix. And looks like we're getting sort of near the end of the show. Let me look the chat room here and see if there's anything I missed. Okay. Okay. Okay, Jonathan was there. Okay, so Edie says, I designed a robotics project. She'd love to share or collaborate with the gentleman who just shared about robotics. Okay, so that was, gosh, the names are escaping me already. Who was here talking? No, it wasn't Mustafa. Who was talking about the robotics? It was Byron. So Byron, Edie would like to connect with you. Maybe you can both put your LinkedIn's or email addresses or something in the chat room, and your robotics, shared interest in robotics could bond you. Dwayne says, hello. I don't think anyone responded here. Okay, well, hi, Dwayne. We're busy. We were talking. But if you want to come on camera next time, you can. The link is always in the RSVP details, and you can come and join us on camera or as a member of Startup Council. Our members get the link much more easily and can come join us. Jay Michael says, I'm an Agilist with all the certs. I don't understand how this is to be used and to deliver what benefit. What is the value add that I'm not getting today from the Agile team that this would bring? Okay, so I'm thinking that's feedback for Jonathan, probably, right, Jay? So yeah, so that's great feedback, Jonathan. Actually, if you're still here, Jay's suggesting, and this is a good way to put it. I'll put that on the screen. What is the value add that I'm not getting today from an Agile team that your tools would help with your Amaro product? Yeah, that's a good way to put it. What's the value add? Yep. And that's true for Mojeed as well, right? What's the value add, the specific, right? Because there's a Venn diagram. A lot of things are being done already, maybe not perfectly, but good enough, right? So when those circles overlap, you don't want the circles to overlap like 90% and you only have like a 10% difference, right? You want them to, like, you have a big circle of, wow, we do all this stuff that is significant enough that it actually drives revenue, right? That it affects the bottom line, not just more efficient. Like, more efficient is cool. I love efficiency, but the bosses, the budget decision makers, they're going to want to see that paying for this tool or new software or whatever it is actually affects output in the sense of making more money or saving money, and ideally both, right? So it all comes down to the money every damn time. Okay, Miguel says, I use Augment Code now and it's crazy. I think your pitch is very good and I understood it entirely, but I think it was overly technical. Okay, well, that's a good for Jonathan. Yes, that's kind of what I said. You said it more concisely, but yeah, a little less tech, and but it was very good. Good. And that's from somebody who really understood what you're talking about, not just me. I just pretend to understand that tech stuff. Dwayne is back, and Dwayne says, why won't this thing click? Hang on, guys. This is annoying. Okay, well, Dwayne, oh, there we go. Okay. Check out iTech Smart Incorporated or itechsmart.dev. Okay, so there's a suggestion. And Miguel would like to connect with you, Jonathan. Yep. Okay, so Jonathan, hopefully you saw that. Miguel, does VC attend those events? I'm not sure what events, Dwayne, you're talking about. What did I talk about? Oh, the startupevents.org, right? Yeah. Oh, sure. Yeah, these are big events. The ones that we cover there are big conferences, and like they have to have at least 300 people, maybe, and some of them have 10 or 20,000 people. So absolutely. Okay, so here's a good one. We can talk about this. So Mayweather says, hey Scott, is it dead season to be sending cold decks and portal submissions? How confident can we be that our message will get read when incoming traffic seems so heavy? Actually, May, I'm going to call you May. I don't know you, but let's go with that. I would never be sending cold decks and portal submissions. It's just so rarely works. I mean, it can't hurt, I guess. But if you're okay, let's split this in two buckets. Okay, so if you're sending cold decks to investors, we're not going to read them because we're too busy. We get so many decks that we only look at the ones that come from people we know, right? That we have a pre-existing relationship with. Is that fair? Is it right? No. Is it the fact? Yes. But that's one of the reasons I do this, because I don't think it's fair, right? That's why I write these books. Like, I'm trying to help people reduce the gatekeeping, right? Reduce the gatekeeping for everybody. So, but it's a fact. We just don't have time. We get overwhelmed, right, by the number of things and people that want to talk to us. That's why I do these broadcasts, right? If you want to talk to me on an hourly basis, I charge a lot of money, like a lawyer, right? Because I just can't manage my schedule otherwise. So the cold decks will be ignored, or if you go to a big firm, a cold submission through most portals will go to somebody, guess who? The lowest person on the desk, like an intern or fresh out of college kid. Is it going to go to the managing director who makes the investment decisions? Hell no, right? They're busy, right? They're talking and seeing all the deals that their friends are showing them that are actually valuable, hot deals from established founders, with amazing credentials and blah, 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 right? Is it fair? No. Is it a fact? Yes. So cold decks rarely are worth your time because they're probably going to get reviewed by somebody who has no pull, right? Venture capitalists don't write big checks randomly, right? There's a lot of due diligence done, and they have to put their personal credibility as well as money on the line. So they're not just taking recommendations from the summer intern, it's just not a reality. I'm going to cover this more in this book I'm writing, like I said, but I wanted to hit the other part of that, portal submission. So I don't know exactly what you meant there, May, but portal submissions may mean a slightly different thing. And I'm going to interpret it to make a distinction here, which is portals like a accelerator submission or an incubator or like a pitch competition, like things like that. Those might get reviewed on more of a cold basis. And by the way, there are some firms that only take submissions cold, right? Because they're trying to eliminate bias and connections, and that's cool. Like if they say that, you might have a better chance. But generally speaking, I'm not in favor of it. Is this the season particularly? Yes. I mean, at least in the United States or in countries where they celebrate Christmas, I would take the next 3 weeks off. I mean, unless you want to take a shot, like the 2 or 3 days after Christmas, and maybe the person is bored and checking their email, and they want a little taste of, they like looking at stuff, and maybe you'll get lucky. I mean, but that's sure. Go ahead. It's luck of the draw. How confident can we be that our message will get read when incoming traffic seems so heavy? You can't at all. That's why I'm saying you can't be confident that it will be read. You can't assume it will be read. You are much better off networking. I'm going to put up a resource here that is part of our answer to this, which I haven't talked about this time. I'm surprised it doesn't come up. It usually comes up sooner. But we built a website that what in the world? There we go. Here. We literally built a website like this because this is the question we get every time, right? How do I find investors, et cetera, et cetera? Startupinvestorsdirectory.com. And this is a directory of 3,000 early stage investors that's searchable on 40 or 50 different parameters. So it's not just aerospace versus med tech versus software. It's also early stage, pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, but also you can search by geography. You can search by various affinity groups, right? So you can find people that invest in women founders or Black founders or veteran founders or immigrant founders or non-US. Like we have all these different filters that you can use. And the idea is to, again, reduce gatekeeping. And it's a search engine, basically, right? So it's not free because we spent a lot of money and years building it, but there's a lot of information in there. And if you can see that on the screen, there's actually a code, and I'm not even going to say it, but you can see it if you're paying attention. And you can use that code, and I think it'll give you half off. And check it out, and maybe that would be helpful to you, May, and everybody else. Okay, so what else? Okay, Edie says, okay, so Edie has a question. Okay, how open are investors to supporting mental wellness models that use immersive technology like projection mapping to increase participation, retention, and measurable impact? Well, Edie, it depends on the investor, right? Most investors have what we call a thesis, right? Meaning like, I am a late stage aerospace investor. That person's not going to be interested at all, right? Or I am an early stage consumer packaged goods investor. Like I'm looking for like new beverages and matcha teas and kombuchas and energy drinks, that person's not going to be interested, right? So you have to do your research and figure out who are the investors that care about the same things you care about. And that's where a tool like this or Google, can really be helpful, because you can actually see their portfolios, and you want to find people. We have categories for, they invest in advertising or aerospace or medical devices or health and wellness or, whatever. We have all those kind of categories, right? But then you can actually look at their portfolios and see where they have invested in the past. And that's who you want to talk to. So that's sort of the research answer, right? You need to do your research and find out, because some investors are and some investors aren't. And most aren't, right? Because they're doing other things. There's a lot of opportunities in the world. More importantly, Edie, though, I think there's a lesson here for you in the way you framed the question, which is kind of off. Like, I understand that's how you see the world, but let me introduce you to a different way of looking at the world. Speaking as an investor, I don't care at all about, what did you say, supporting mental wellness models that use this, and this, and this. I don't care at all. What I care about is money, right? This is a business. So if you want to appeal to investors, you need to talk about the business. So I would reframe that somehow to say, which investors or are there investors, or even ask for referrals. Do you know any investors? This is always a good thing to ask. Anytime you meet an investor, tell them what you do and say, do you know anyone that's interested in this, right? And reframe it around, investors aren't interested in supporting mental wellness models. That's just not what they do. They're interested in making money. So can you say instead, we have a mental wellness model that is going to make a return of, X million dollars in 4 years? Like that's the way you need to frame this, right? And then you can start thinking like an investor. So put the money first, not because what you're doing isn't important. It's just that it's the job of venture capitalists to invest money. Like, it's not their money. You know that? Like, VCs invest money from other people. They have to raise money from limited partners, which are usually insurance companies or pension funds or foundations and university endowments or wealthy family offices. So they have raised that money, and those folks have invested with the venture capital firm because of the thesis, right? So this firm has a thesis that they're going to invest in late stage aerospace companies because that's what their limited partners want them to do. So they're not interested in your company, not because it's not a great company, but because it's literally illegal for them to invest in mental wellness models, right? They invest in aerospace, right? So not all investors are the same. So you need to do the research and figure out who does your kind of thing, and then put the business and the money and the potential return first, because it's their job. It's our job to look at the money, right? And how we make the money is actually secondary is only a result of being able to make money in the first place. You've got to put the money up front. And that has come up in every one of the pitches tonight, right? Less product, more business. Okay, enough on that. Sorry. Okay, so Dwayne says, that's why I love iTech Smart. It integrates with everything that has API bidirectional. Okay, well, that sounds cool. Jay Maurizio, the value. Okay, so it looks, you guys can probably all see these other chat rooms. Oh yeah, you're talking to each other. Good. Yeah, okay, Jonathan and Jay Michael, you're talking. Excellent. Tomorrow. Okay, good. Okay, good. Sounds like you guys hit it off. I hope you exchange your contact information and can, build something together. That'd be super cool. If you do, come back and tell me, okay? That's why I do this. Hopefully the answers that we share here are useful, but what I'm really trying to do is build the community so that you all can connect and help each other. It's relationships really drive all this stuff. So if you can make a friend here, that's worth far more than whatever advice I gave you. If you can build your team, build your confidence, build your community, that's much more likely to help you build a company. And that's what I think is most exciting about technology like the Zoom, right? We can all come together and make friends, even though we might not ever meet in person. So thanks for watching tonight. I hope it was useful to you. Please tell your friends. If you're watching this in the replay later, or any of you that have follow-up questions, you can post them on YouTube in the comments there, and we will try to respond and keep the dialogue going if that's useful to you. Please do like and subscribe. It does make a difference. It's not why we do this, but the more people that can meet here and exchange information and learn and level up their skills in startup land, the better, right? I'm very much a rising tide lifts all the boats sort of guy. So please like and subscribe. Leave a comment would be even better, right? Because that just will drive the algorithm and help more people discover this content that is hopefully useful, especially to folks who don't live in the Bay Area or didn't go to Stanford, or all the other connections are not white males like me, right? There's a lot of smart people in this world, and they all deserve a chance. So if you can like and subscribe, that would help us out to reach more of them. So thanks for joining me tonight. Hope to see you again next month. Happy holidays. And please leave us some comments and likes and shares. And don't forget to come join the Startup Council. This is a new thing. You could be in early. The platform is just rolling out this month. And we built all the tools I could think of that would help connect and amplify the good work that many of you are doing. So come on over and check it out and contribute to the momentum that we're building so that we can help you even more. Thanks for watching. I'm Scott Fox from startupcouncil.org. See you next time.